Yo, Pierre, you want to come out here?
In New York, I merely rock, hiding in my socks.
What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, Lifestyles Defined. Let's talk about the Olympus 12mm prime. So this is one of, I would say, the trio. And I feel like if you own an Olympus, an OMD or EM Mark 1 or EM1, I'm sorry, any of those type of cameras, even a Pen F, you owe it to yourself to gather the trio of lenses, of primes. First is my favorite is the 45 1.8, and I have a review for that already in the channel. Secondly would be the 17. I don't have my hands on that yet, so I'm currently seeking that. And then would be the 12. So of course, let's talk about the crop factor. We know it's micro four thirds, so the crop factor, you need to do the math, is ×2. This 12mm is really a 24mm equivalent to full frame. Now, at glance, you may, if you're not familiar, you hear 12mm, someone says, hey, I've got this 12mm, you go, wow, that's super wide. It's not that wide. It's 24mm. It's what I would say is standard. I'm super comfortable in that focal range, 24 and 28 for my street photography. I quite prefer it. The 17, which is the other one I was speaking about, gives you roughly a 35mm. So I just want to get that out the way to where this lens realistically lands. But other than that, if you're looking for a 24mm lens or somewhere abouts, I think this lens is amazing. There's so much about this lens to love, very little to complain about. So let's start with the physical looks of it. It's a beautiful lens. It's all metal, and it's got like the little, the black and red lettering. It's just an attractive lens, and although it's super tiny, as you can expect from a micro four thirds lens, it has this really solid and great feel and build quality to it. And then there's the snapshot focus or snapback focus, whatever Olympus calls it, where you sort of snap back the focus ring to kick it into manual mode, which is super dope because you don't need to go into the camera and hit a button on the camera to change to manual focus. And I can't get enough of this. The ring, the draw is it's so smooth. And what I also like about it is it gives you a hard stop when you get the minimum or maximum focus. So you're not just keep turning it like some of the other. I think a lot of Sony lenses do that. But it's an attractive lens to really look at, and it's super easy to use in manual focus mode, and so much so that when I'm using this lens for street photography, it really got me in the habit of manual focusing, and I quite enjoy it for that. I owe it quite a bit, because manual focusing on something like my A7 is not easy because of the weight of the camera, the weight of the lens, but here it's super easy. I usually shoot this guy about 5.6, anywhere from f4 to 5.6, sometimes 3.5. Very rarely, unless I'm well in my night photography element, where I go wide open at 2.0. I have no complaints. This lens is super sharp. It actually is quite shocking, the images that I get out of this lens. Sometimes I get home and I put the images in Lightroom, and I just I'm just amazed. Like, holy crap, the images are super dope. When shooting wide open, I have noticed a bit of sharpness around the edges, which is not that big of a deal. Although it's not super wide, it's wide. If that bothers you, just crop in, or you can just compose for that in camera with the with the intention to crop in when you get home in post. I've noticed no color fringing, which is always something you want to look out for with primes, especially wide open. And the depth of field that you get here in the bokeh, it's super creamy, which is not something you really expect from a 24mm lens, right? But my God, and I hear this a lot, a lot of comments on these videos. People go, yeah, well, it's micro four thirds. And I heard the bokeh sucks and the depth of field sucks. Like, no, I mean, you can do some serious bokeh work with this guy, and I really quite enjoy it. For the price you can get this, I think I may have paid like $250 from someone off Craigslist. It's an absolute steal. And this is probably, this is one of two cameras, one of two lenses that stays on my EM10 Mark II. It's the 12 millimeter and the 45 millimeter, and they both stay in my bag with me at all times. And because of the micro four thirds size and the tiny size of these lenses, it means nothing for me to walk around with it. So I'm quite content with this focal length. I'm often quite amazed with the image quality I get out of this lens. I think it's a go. If you own a micro four thirds camera, you should own this lens. Don't take it from me though, take it from the community. LD Familia, you guys hop in the comment section. I know a good few of you already own this lens and can give a really strong testimony. Hit the comment section down below. Let me know how you feel about this lens. If you've been looking to buy this lens for some time, ask as many questions as you want. I'll be happy to answer them. Also, don't forget, in the link in the description down below, you'll find a link to our Facebook group. A small community, but we're looking to grow it, and we really like interacting with the community from YouTube in a much more in-depth way on Facebook. So if you got Facebook, get that, join the conversation, join the family. We're in there. My name's Ramon. I'm out of here. Peace. Well, I guess, and the reason we started Lifestyles Defined is because if we weren't on camera arguing about these things, the technologies, the phones, the iPhones, the Androids, the cameras, the games, we'd be on the phone arguing about it. We'd be in each other's houses arguing about it. So why not just put it in front of a camera for everyone to enjoy it the way we do? That's what Lifestyles Defined is all about. We just